So I'm here with OG Fast for the third episode of Connected, and this is my first time getting to talk to OG, and I've heard a lot of great things, and I'm as soon as I heard it, I was like, I want to hear these stories. I was like, I gotta hear them. I was like, it's kind of like little kid in me, wanting to hear like a story or something like that. So I was like, I've definitely got to get him on here. So you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, like how long you've been growing, like what got you into growing, and we'll just pile on from there. And as the stories accumulate and whatnot.
Right on, right on. Well, I've been growing for 35 years. Um, the the main thing that got me into growing was just different things medically, people I knew and stuff. And in all honesty, it was because of my dad. My dad had cancer. We found out he had cancer, and I'd always smoked cannabis. And my grandfather had cancer on my dad's side. Uh, my mother on her side of the family had lost two aunts to cancer. So it kind of dove headfirst into it. And back then it was on forums. We didn't have a platform like IG or Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. And it was I started reading, and going to different of these places to try to learn. And a lot of the stuff I started growing at first was just bag seeds.
Yep.
Just stuff that I'd got through the years that I'd kept the seeds. I kept them for some reason I didn't know why, and then just all of a sudden it came to me like, oh my god, I'm gonna go ahead and grow some cannabis. You know, and that kind of started the venture. Uh, like back then we didn't have lights really, so it was like I knew a guy at work for the city, so whenever they take a street light down, he'd call me, and I'd go to him, and he'd give me the ballast and the fixture. So pretty much HP. That's what they used to all the street
Yep.
lights used to be was high pressure sodiums because that's the brightest you could get back then. So I had this old ballast thing, probably weighed 100 pounds.
Whew.
Every time, every time you'd plug it in, it sounded like the house was going to take off. It just hummed because it was a magnetic ballast.
Yeah.
And I started there, and I started experimenting with different things. Um, when I first started growing, it was just dirt out of the yard, you know, and did it that way. And then as I progressed, I learned more with minerals and stuff, and I went to vermiculite and perlite. I did it for a while and that, and then I went back to the soil. I got bored with the soil, and then that's when everybody was talking about some of the no-till stuff back then. So I got into that and actually building the soil and worm castings, worms, alfalfa, different things
Yeah.
to actually make the soil so it was had the nutrients in it so you could just feed with water. And I did that. Then I went back to soil. I kind of bounced around. I've kind of growed, pretty much any way that you can think of. I've done it. The RDWC, the DWC,
Yeah. So that's
cocoa.
yeah. That's what I'm into right now at DWC. Like I started off in soil, then tried out DWC. I eventually want to shift into RDWC and try that out. But I haven't tried cocoa yet, so I'm interested in that as
Cocoa's
well.
not hard. Cocoa's very basic. I mean, cocoa. All you got to do is you buy a good cocoa. I recommend, in my opinion, the Mother's Earth cocoa because it's real fine. It's not the actual husk of it. It's
Okay.
ground. It's real fine. And what I used to do, I used to do the. I do a half a bag of the Mother's Earth, and then a third of a bag of worm castings, and
Mhm.
then I would just kind of eyeball it with perlite, mix it all up, and then just keep doing that as you're mixing.
Mhm.
Because you put the worm castings in and stuff, you're adding a little boost of nutrients in the actual medium itself. You know, you use your mycorrhizas and stuff when you do your transplants. stuff like that. It's not real hard. It's just I went back to running rock wool because I ran rock wool 2 or 3 different times, and I went back to running the rock wool because of the mess and just the weight. Trying to lug bags all the time, making pots up and transplant. You always end up with shit on the floor.
Yeah, just always having trying to keep it clean and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. So and that's the reason I went back to rock wool, just because there's no mess. You know, it's clean, and like I try to tell people, less is more when you're
Yeah,
growing. The
that's one
less you
thing
have
I've
involved,
yeah, I found that out. I definitely found that out as time has progressed.
there's a lot of misinformed information out there that
Mm-hmm.
people get. You know, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, so I just need to use CalMag," and I'm like, "Don't even use CalMag. It's like the biggest joke of the industry because it's calcium and magnesium, and there's probably a gram of each one of those in that bottle, and the rest of it's water.
Yep.
You don't need the calcium if you're running water and you're running tap water. The calcium's already there. Also, your nutrients has the calcium in it.
Yep. That's what I found out. And when I stopped using it, I was using it because I still had it from when I first started. So I was like, why not just eventually use it up? But then, and this grow I've currently been doing, I started out using it, and then I just kind of like stopped. I was like, if I need it, if I experience some type of deficiency, I may use it. And ever since then,
Don't
like I haven't even used it. I haven't had any need for it yet. I haven't seen anything wrong, and it's been a month. No problem. I haven't seen any type of deficiency with magnesium deficiency or anything like that. And then there's
well
a
if you do end up with a deficiency, 90% of the time it's yellowing
yeah.
of the leaf. Okay, that's a magnesium deficiency. So all you got to do is run down to your local Walmart, your local pharmacy, and buy the 7 or 8 pound bag of just pure Epsom salt, not scented, no lavender in or nothing, but just pure Epsom salt. And you use a gram a gallon, and
Okay.
then and within 2 days you'll see it. It'll fix it immediately, and then you'll see everything start to green back up. That's just a misconception. Everybody thinks it's a calcium deal. Calcium nitrate is what they say, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not at all. So, and that's one of the. There's a lot of stuff out there right now that's you can go to a store and buy something compared to spending $60 to $80 for a bottle of whatever they're claiming it to be.
Yep.
Because in all honesty, a cannabis plant, when it grows and it grows doors and everything, it lives off of the minerals that are in the soils. Everybody thinks it's so hard to grow and everything. The growing part of it's the easiest part to do. That's 10%. Growing is 10% of everything that you do. Your dry and your cure is your most critical part.
I'm still
That's
trying to get that down packed. Yeah.
90% of your grow is your dry and your cure. A lot of people get it wrong. Everybody's like, "Oh, you want 60 to 70% humidity, and you want to be 60 degrees." No, it's not what you want. You know, when you dry and cure, the best way to do it is slow dry. So you put it in an area or put it in a tent. I mean, I get the temperatures down into the 50s. You know, 56 to 65 degrees is where I try to stay, and I
Okay.
try to stay below 46% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, as it slow dries, it can get all the chlorophyll out of it. So when it releases all that, and then what that'll do is it'll lock in the terpenes better than trying to fast dry it like a lot of guys do.
Yeah. I've
And this is
seen that.
good.
I've
Yeah.
I've seen like people like on like forums stuff like that on Reddit or something like that. And I've seen people like how to or I'll see them in comments. They're like, how do I speed up the drawing process? I'm like, you don't want to speed it up. Like if any you want to be the perfect timing. You don't want to rush anything during grow period. Like that's how you mess things up because you're trying to rush and get to that end result, and that's how you
Yeah.
get the end result ends up being shit. Because you wanted to rush things, and
Right.
patience. Patience is definitely great in this type of
But it
environment.
when you do that, it just kills the terpenes
Mhm.
because what it does is they evaporate out of it because it's trying to dry so fast, and that's why you end up with a green taste, which is like grass or hay. Everybody
Okay.
says,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to get that in a period of a slow dry when it's hanging, but it usually only lasts a day or so, and then the terpene comes right back. And with the slow drying, it allows the moisture to evaporate out of the actual fruits better than when you're trying to dry it at 60 degrees with 60 or 70% humidity, because all you're doing is keeping that moisture inside of that. So what you end up having is molds. uh, you can actually end up with bud rot, where the bud will actually start to die off,
Mm-hmm.
even in a dry and a cure process. Botrytis. I mean, there's just different things, and that's the problem with dispensaries as well, because they try to just push everything out they can,
Yeah. They're just
and they don't.
trickling and they're just watering it all down. Like everything's just they want to get out there. They want to get the money. That's it. Money, 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 money. You know, if it whatever the fastest way to get to the money, that's what it is. And some people are gonna see right through it. It's like, nah, this isn't what it used to taste like. This isn't how it's supposed to taste. This isn't how I used to smoke and whatnot. But then, there's some people that just may fall for like, oh, this is the best thing ever because of the name of something. When in reality, somebody true to the industry and true to growing or just true no, a true smoker or something like that. Somebody that actually knows. They're just like, nah, yeah, like actual kind of, yeah, someone like that, and they're just like, nah, this isn't like something's changed, something's not right about this.
Yeah,
And
there's so much that can be learned. People could learn, if they just take the time and ask questions. Like, for a year and a half now, I've been doing this, getting on lives, um, doing stuff like we're doing now with the podcast and stuff,
mm-hmm.
just to help people. And it's the home growers, it's the small craft growers that are, trying to grow medicine for themselves and people that they know to try to help.
Yeah.
I don't. That's the way my grow is. My grow is for me and my son, and for a couple people I know that have issues,
Mm-hmm.
certain health issues and stuff like that to help. You know, and like I tell a lot of people, I don't want my name in High Times magazine. I don't want my name affiliated with none of them magazines. I'd rather have my name in a medical journal.
Yeah,
As
that's an achievement right there.
Yeah, that's something to, and nobody will probably ever see that medical journal, but medical people,
Yeah.
doctors and stuff like that. But if I can actually take and create something that's going to be very beneficial for some kind of an ailment that somebody has, I'm all for that. I don't care if anybody knows who I am. Honestly, I'm just like I tell everybody, with the Discord chat and people on Instagram and stuff like that. I just tell them, I said, I'm a normal guy. I'm just like everybody else. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else does. I just have a lot more experience than some of the people nowadays that
Been
are
putting them
in.
pants on a long time now.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I'll be 51 years old this year.
Hell yeah, and,
I'm
and to
not a
be
young
doing something
cat.
like this, that's great.
I'm not a young cat. And, everybody's always like, well, why the name OG Fast? And I'm like, well, I build race cars. That's what I've
Oh
done.
shit.
That's what I've done my entire life. That's what my dad did his entire life. That's what my wife's dad did his entire life. Me and my wife, like, she's my soulmate, and it took me 47 years to find her. And then when I found her, all the common people we knew, and just all the common places that I went, she went, but we never seen each other.
That's insane.
Like, for yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I was a musician for a long time. I had a death
What?
metal band, 12
Okay.
years.
Would you play? Like, what instrument you play?
I was a vocalist,
Okay.
and my wife was in a major metal band as well, and we were on some of the same tours and never met.
Yeah.
So it was like our entire life was like
Just like neck and
revolved
neck.
around the
Yeah.
same stuff, but we never met each other.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You
just
know,
the fact that y'all could have met, in half the time, and just, like but everything's meant, everything happens for a reason, and maybe y'all just had to go on throughout that journey to get to the point where y'all were, and then, but looking
right,
back at it, it's insane. It's like, how didn't we meet each other then?
right, exactly. But it's like I try to tell everybody with you doing this and everything. Maybe people are lighten up a little bit. I get a lot of people that say, "Well, I don't want to approach you. You look scary." I'm not. I'm just me. I'm just a normal guy. I'd take my shirt off my back for anybody. You
Yeah.
know, the only thing I ask is don't disrespect me.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk all the shit you want about me, but just just don't disrespect me. That's
Yeah.
all I ask.
Exactly.
And I
Like,
yeah, I help anybody. I don't care. I'm not out here to make money. I'm not
yeah.
out here targeting people for information. That's not how it should be. I
Nah,
mean,
information should be free, like everybody should want to help the next person, like
yeah,
it's just got to be one of those things. And but some people are just, people get their selfish ways, but for the most part, a lot of people are pretty positive and want to, give back. And but
there's a lot of good people in the community. Some of the older heads like myself that they just don't come out because what it is like there's certain strands and stuff a lot of people think that are gone that are never going to be and all this and that and a lot of the older stuff they say that you can't get it and this and that. The whole reason is why is because we've all kept that stuff and we've kept it in a tight circle and we don't give it out, and then
and
that way it doesn't end up in the next hype thing
mm-hmm.
with all this new hype weed. Is just there's some of them that people have done the work right, and then there's some of the stuff it's trash. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're just, it's a name, it's a face, and then they're looking for that next thing to replace that. It's like, okay, it was whatever, blah 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 this time. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and peach this, blah blah blah. It's just the next name to replace that thing, and just to keep it going. And like, that's pretty smart. Like, and I've heard of stuff like that. I just watched a interview last night. His name was like DC Scrogger, and he was saying how he had like cuts and strains that, and they keep it. That's a good thing to do. Keep it in an inner circle, and pass it on, because like, it's like, hey, I trust this person. I know they're gonna do right by it. I'm not giving it to somebody that's gonna go just pump it out there and just destroy the strain, and just to get it out there and just to blow the name up and ruin everything that it could have been, like washing it down.
well, DC Scrogger, I don't have no respect for him. Period.
Oh, okay, okay,
Just some of the stuff that he said, he's racist as hell. He
okay,
said
yeah.
he made a comment on a live saying that this plant don't belong to white people.
Oh,
White people
wow.
have this plant.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I
I
didn't.
don't care for him one bit. He's not been in the game long at all. I think 3, 5 years maybe at most, and he's out here talking like he's an old head, and he ain't nothing. He's nobody. I mean,
Okay,
I don't care. I say it how it is, and if somebody's
and
got a
and I
problem,
I appreciate it,
he's got a
honesty.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, if he's got a problem, he can come say something to me. I
yeah.
don't care for him. I don't care for the way he works, the racist shit. I don't care for that period at all.
Okay,
My
yeah.
brother,
See, I wasn't
my
too big on him.
brother,
I just watched it. I
yeah,
just saw an interview last night, so I'm what I'm saying, I'm not really tapped in with him like that. I just saw that interview, and when you said keeping it in an inner circle, he mentioned some of that, so that was like the only thing that stuck out. But I don't know his roots,
he's
so
got
that's
he don't have
yeah,
anything. He just got hype stuff. That's all he's got. He don't
yeah.
have no original, real, old school stuff backed up. I can guarantee you that.
And that
It's
and see that
that's the
that's a
problem.
thing right there. People, like you said, people could just talk a lot of stuff. It's because, like, once you get to a certain point, you could forget who I was. I could be who I want to be now. It's like, nobody knows my past. I can say I've been doing it for this long. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. Nobody's gonna fact check me and all that. And people
I
feed
don't
into
care
that
for
type of
anybody.
stuff.
That's the way I look at it. Go ahead, fact check me. I mean, everything I'm telling you is for real. I'm a real person. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm old school. I mean, I look, I have respect for a lot of people, but when you start dragging race into it and all this and that, I don't
It's
care.
not a
I don't care what color your skin is. We all bleed the same goddamn color. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, it does not matter. Period at all.
hmm
And everybody looks at me like, oh, well, you're a biker and this and that. No, I'm not a biker. I have a bunch of tattoos because I was a musician, and I just said, fuck it, I don't want to shave anymore. And I grew a beard. That's me. That's who I am. But I'm not affiliated with anybody or nothing. The only thing I'm affiliated with is my family. And that's it.
Exactly. Yeah, hell yeah. Family
I'm
man.
a family
Gotta
man.
respect that.
I got one kid left in the house, and he'll probably be here for a long while. And my wife, and we take care of my mom, and that's the family I have left. And I just I want I'm just tired of fake people anymore in this community.
It
I'm
is,
just
and
tired of people just
it's
laying claim to strands and this and that, and I made this and this is mine, and blah blah blah. No, you did not. The work that you took to make what you have, you need to give that guy credit. And then that
yeah.
guy who took whoever else's work and made what he made needs to give that man that credit. It needs
Mhm.
to go down. It's a respect thing. If
Yeah.
I use anybody's stuff to make something, I will give them credit.
That because all that went into it, that,
Yeah, it's time.
and
It's not just it's time and it's effort and it's money because it costs money to when you do breeding because you're feeding them and light, and all that. And these guys just, I don't know, man. It really gets me because there's guys out here just pollen chucking. They'll take one male and put 42 different things in a room and pollinate it, and then they're like, boom, I got a seed company.
yeah. Oh, so I had I so I had a peanut butter trucker which I got from Co-op Genetics, and I was going away, and so I didn't wasn't able to tend to the plants, and I was like, I can't really do this grow like I want. They were some regular seeds, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let them all grow. I told the person I had watching them. I said my roommate. I was like, hey, just water them. I've got all the water prepared. Just water them. There's males in there. There's probably gonna be pollen everywhere. I don't know how it gets. This is my first time with males. Usually I get rid of the males. I was like, but I just want to keep this. I want to have seeds from the next time since I wasn't able to grow this the way I wanted to because I'm leaving. So I was like, just let them do their thing. It's just gonna be like it's wild. I was like, that way I could just end up with seeds. I don't really care about the bud. I just want seeds so I can redo it. So and then I come back and I didn't know the pollen would be that bad. Like it was so many. It was like probably majority males and like a few females, and pollen was just everywhere. My lights were covered. My tent was covered in pollen, and there was so much cleaning. And then the tent next to it, they're
Oh
getting
yeah.
pollinated. Yeah, so I didn't know that was a thing. And I got to do the seeds, but I was like, at no point, like I had people like I just posted the seeds, and people like hit me up. They're like, "Can I get seeds?" I was like, I have these seeds from Seedsman, but these seeds right here, I was like, no, I'm not selling these. I'm not trying to like, I'm no seed breeder. I'm just a grower. I just like doing this stuff, and I'm just trying to continuously learn. Maybe one day I might come up with genetics or be some sort of breeder, but I was like, right now that's not what I'm trying to do, and I'm not gonna just. I was like, I'll give you these. I was like, I'll let you get some of these if you want to grow them and try for yourself. But I was like, I'm not a seed breeder. I was like, but you can go hit up this person, or this person.
I mean, one thing I can say, if you're really, really that interested in the plant and doing something and making stuff, just get the marijuana botany book.
Okay.
I can tell for new people that are new to growing and stuff like that. It's a really good book to read. Talks a lot about stuff. Talks about it's all scientific stuff in the book. Like when I talk, I don't talk scientific. I put it in layman's terms so everybody can understand.
Yep.
You know, so if people are really, really, that into it, you can get the book and then read it. And it'll give you a little more knowledge on what you're doing, and then it'll help you when you're looking for males and you're looking for your females for your sexing and stuff. I just have a different way of doing it. I stress everything out to the point to where it's almost dead, and then I'll bring it back, and then I'll let it go for a week or two, and then I'll hit it again and stress it again.
Seeing that resilient, how resilient it is.
Yeah, and so I can see if if it ends up with powdery mildew on it, I know it's susceptible. So it goes.
That's smart.
When you're working with stuff and you're breeding, you really have to pay attention to your lineages. So you have to track it clear back to when it was just the first two parents that made it. And then when you look at those first two parents, you got to see what the grandparents are. of those two parents as well. So you really, really have to pay attention to what you're doing. And then you look at your regions, where they're at, what the climate is, what the dew point is, humidity, rainfall, how hot it gets, the whole 9 yards. And you just kind of got to take all that stuff and factor it in when you're wanting to make something. Because when you take something you have and you want to take something to it, you always want to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to make it as good. You want it to be better. So you really have to pay attention to your structures, stuff like that. But that's another whole conversation.
Yeah, breeding is like in depth. Like I thought you just took two, put them together, and then that's it. But then you got the F1s, F2s, F blah blah blah. It's just I was like,
Like your
oh, that's. I
F1,
was like, I have to put that to another. That's another time when I really get into it.
yeah, it's filio generations. Is what, your F1 is your
Okay, so
stock.
that's what it's saying, filial generation.
So
Okay,
like you get your F1s, you look through them, you try to find a better female, find your
so that's
best
that's
female.
that's where that's the pheno hunting right there, right?
Yeah, you find your best female, and what I'll usually do is, if I'm doing a pheno hunt, I'll grow them all out, male and females, and I take cuts of everything before I put them in flower, and then when I flower them, I pay attention to what the male does, how the trikes are on the male, the smell, everything. Grow them out because, in all honesty, if you clone something, it needs to be cloned 3 different times before that variety is totally acclimated to your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So you can grow it the first time and get that certain expression, grow it a second time and it expresses different, and then you grow it the third time, it's pretty much going to show you exactly what it is because it's all an acclimation point for the actual cultivar to acclimate to an environment.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we always keep stuff around longer so you can actually get the full potential out of the plant, what it does.
Exactly. That's smart.
It's just common. It's it's not common knowledge, I should say. It's kind of common sense if you know anything plant wise or anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it's common sense.
Yeah, because
It's just
common sense ain't so common sometimes.
right. It's just people not giving the correct information out to people, so they actually sit and they think about it like, wow, he's right. It expressed this way the first time, and it did express different the second time, and the third time it was just, and every time I've run it since that third time, it's been exactly the same. So it repeats.
Which is okay. That's how you get those solid, and that's how you continue to get the same results because you've worked out all the kinks and you dumbed it down pretty much to where it needs to be.
It's actually acclimated to its new environment totally.
Okay.
So, and a
So
lot of people say, when you put a plant in flower, if you're indoors, it doesn't know what the temperature is outside, and it doesn't know, you know, what time of year it is. That's false. The plant does know what time it is of the year it is. Like when I do clones in the winter, they take twice as long as what they do in the summer. I'm usually 17 to 21 days in the winter, and then I can put clones in, and they'll root within 7 days when it's summer. The plant knows it's a living thing. It comes from outside, and a lot of people don't take that into factor. So,
yeah, because it's been around way longer than any of us. Like,
I mean, they
and
found cannabis seeds in Tutankhamun's sarcophagus, buried with him.
and it's still illegal.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and it's just it. The reason it's illegal is because the government's not ready to let it go yet, and big pharma is in everybody's pockets still. But what they don't seem to understand is the textiles and goods that can be used from cannabis and hemp.
Yeah, because
With
hemp it has so many different uses other than just smoking. Like that's what everybody thinks. Oh, it's just smoke. You get high. That's it. But there's so many different things outside of just smoking. You don't even have to consume it to gain these other benefits from it.
I mean, 2 years ago, Porsche was the first company to use hemp carbon fiber to build their new supercar body.
Oh, wow.
The hemp carbon fiber is 3 times stronger than regular carbon fiber.
Wow. And see, they don't say
Yeah.
that. They don't put that information out there. They don't make that super. That's not no huge
They
headline. They're
make
not.
they're making hempcrete now, which is concrete with hemp. It's stronger and lighter, doesn't break like regular concrete does. Um, Trying to think of what else they were. There's wood, hemp wood, where they're making wood with it now. You can make anything with it like you do with regular trees. I did some reading and some agricultural stuff, and they did a deal, and they said 1 acre of hemp is equivalent to 4 acres of
I've seen that.
tree cut down.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that. Yep.
Why not? And you're not tearing the ground up as bad as when you're cutting trees down and trying to get all that big root mass out and everything. You know, that's what creates the oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody with everything. So I'm really glad that they have done the hemp agricultural. So there's so many different textiles.
It's just so many. It's just so much. But it's one of those things. I guess they view it as, well, definitely a money way. They after the money, and then it's just like one of those things. Like, oh, it's too good to be true. Like, nah, well, let's worry about this. Let's worry about that. Like, yeah,
Once it's about to be totally federally legal. I mean, it's just they pushed it back again until August,
yep,
but no way around it. I mean,
yeah. Like, you can't beat it. Like, it's gonna
no,
happen.
no, and it's just going to be a thing. And like I told them, what they need to do is they just need to set it up to where we ought to be able to get a craft grower's license. Is what
Mm-hmm.
we should be able to get. Like they do with the craft beer and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it should be. I just think what the states need to do is just come up with their own deal. Like, okay, anybody in the household over 21 can do 6 plants per person, and
And
then just let it go. I mean,
and that's perfect too, because like on six plants you could really, and also anybody like looking to get into it, like what I feel like, let me know how you feel on this. Like, anybody that consumes it or anything like that, they should at least try to grow it. How do you think anybody, like, everybody should, I guess, like, if people would appreciate it more if they attempted to grow it or something like that, because not everybody's
yeah,
just going to be able to get out there and grow it. Like, a lot of people are going to fail and a lot of people are going to succeed, but
but that's
I,
the part of it, though. You have to fail before you can.
exactly.
In life, you make a mistake, you learn from the mistake, and then you keep going. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing when you're growing with cannabis. You've got to have a passion for it, though. You can't be doing it for
Yeah.
wrong.
You
You can't do it just because of the money.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that's what anything. If you're not really into it, like, and that's where when I first started growing, I had a plant at 2.93 grams. I remember posted them on YouTube and everything. I had a plant for 2 grams. I harvested it way too early. It was autoflower. I was just messing all up. Right. It was super airy. It was just terrible. And I had 2 grams, and a few of the other plants. It was just one of the plants out of the 8 plants I grew that had the 2 grams. I had a few, ones that was like an ounce and stuff. But that one plant with the 2 grams, I was just like, wow. And it made me sit there and think. Like, I remember I posted on YouTube, so you got people negative comments. Somebody's like, I'd kill myself if I grew that, and I'm just sitting there like, man,
Well, and
you're
that's the
right.
thing.
And
You're
but I
going
was
to
like,
you're going to get guys that comment stuff like that, but
oh
then when
yeah.
you ask them, okay, what was yours, and then
Oh,
they don't, they
I've
don't.
never done it. Yeah, I've never, what I'm saying? They're not crickets. But then I was like, you know what? That was the moment where I realized, I was like, I could quit right now, and, like, while I'm down, whatever. I tried, blah blah blah. But did I really try? Like, did I? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've learned this. I feel like I know where I made a mistake at. I feel like
Yeah,
this is
but
where I
how
can
did you?
improve at.
But
And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going.
but how did you feel when you cut that first plant down for yourself?
I still felt great, even though it, the two
That's
grams
all that
the 2 grams didn't even bother me. It was just the fact that I started something from a seed, and got it all the way. Whatever problems I got through, the problems that I faced along the way, and I was able to get it to that point. And that, that was like something I was like, I'm addicted. Like I want to keep going, even though that wasn't what I was expecting. I still know I can get better. Like I'm glad this is a humbling experience, but I was like, I want to keep going. Like it's fun. It's definitely fun.
And that's the thing. You can't listen to anybody else what they got to say. You said it right there. When you harvested that, you felt great. That is that's you can't take that away.
Yeah.
Because you actually physically did it, and you're like, wow. Heck yeah. Yeah, I didn't get much, but I'll do better next time.
Mhm.
And that's all you got to tell yourself. You can't get discouraged with it. A lot of people don't. You got to remember, and a lot of people don't remember. It's a living plant. It's a living, breathing plant. It's like us in a way.
Mhm.
Not exactly like us, but it is. It eats, it takes water. You know,
Sleeps, all
now,
that.
yeah. And the misconception, I'm going to put this out there. Everybody says flower, flower, flower. It's not a flower. It is a fruit.
Okay.
You grow a cannabis plant, you grow it, and then puts the fruits on. You harvest it, you dry and cure it, and then you smoke it. Well, if you have fruit trees or any kind of fruits, you have to let it ripen. So there's your dry and your cure period. We're
Yeah.
not out growing flowers and plucking flowers and smoking them.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
a good
it's
way to
like,
look at it. I never thought about it like that.
and it is. That's like us old heads and everything. It's like when I said the fruit. Fruit. That's what I mean is the actual fruit from the plant that we break up and roll it up and smoke it. You know, it's not like tobacco.
Yeah.
Tobacco, you're pulling a whole leaf on it, just hanging it. That's a flower, pretty much, in a way. But people get the misconception of that. But
So with growing, like you said, you've been growing numerous years. Like I heard somebody mention one of the stories to me, and one of the stories was about a tree, the lifting the plant in the tree. Like I've been waiting to
okay.
hear that one. I've been like, I was like, hold on, save the story. I was like, I want him to tell me. I was like, that just sounds incredible. Like I'm just imagining.
Well, back in the late '80s, early '90s, we were growing outdoors. We put growing in the house. So we're just gonna grow it outdoors. Me and a buddy come up with this idea. He was a farmer. And I used to do everything on his lane, and because he had a spot that would drain off of the fields and stuff. In that spot, and the dirt was just black. I mean, just black, richest stuff I'd ever grown anything in. So what I would do is I'd take 2 5-gallon buckets. I'd drill holes in the first one, set the bucket, put the soil in, put the plant in, put it in another bucket. On that second bucket, I would fill it up with water and nutrients. Put it in the bucket. What we did is we put a pulley system for each plant. Put it in the tree, the rope would come down, would take the actual handle, put it up against the stock, but not tight, to where it had room, and then tie the rope for that, hoist it up, and then we drove long nails, long nails that you do ornamental stuff out in the front yard
Hmm.
with wood and stuff, spikes. Put a spike in the tree around it. We'd hoist them up in the tree and then tie them off. We'd leave them in the tree and they grow in the tree.
That's so like the light. I mean, well, the light outside. The sun is like the most powerful thing, so it's able to penetrate through the trees and whatnot. So like, and you're having to like constantly go out there every time you need to water. You just lower it down, water it, take care of whatever you got to do, then hoist it back up.
Yeah.
That is how big would they get? Like how big would they get?
They get 8 or 9 foot tall.
A tree inside of a tree. That's all I'm thinking about. Like literally a tree inside of a
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah. Yep. It's it was a tree, kind of hanging inside of a tree.
Yeah, and like
So we
how did
did
that even?
that. We did it for a long time that way, and he ended up. the government offered him a bunch of money not to plow that and farm it. So, and the government's done that a lot around here. They'll pay guys not to farm it. They'll just let it grow up and then they just cut it. And then when they cut it, they keep it for hay and shit like that for livestock.
Mm-hmm.
So when he quit doing that, the government was coming out and everything because it was he had two huge fields. I mean, I think he had over 1,000 acres. Well, there was one part that had a small wooded area behind it that he never took down. He kept it for. We all used to go back there and bonfires, drink and race hell and shoot guns and stuff like that. And then he, as we got older, I had asked him. I was like, man, I said, I want to grow some weed out here. He's like, what about indoors? I said, I want to do some stuff outdoors. He said, where? I said, can we do that back there on that little plot? And he was like, yeah. I said, well, can we dig some of that dirt up? I said, what dirt? I said, that black dirt you got here. He's like, you want to use that? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'll use that. And then for there, we did it for 5 years. We'd do it. I'd have plants ready, then take them out there, put them in there, and we'd run them up. I'd go out every 2 weeks, and he would go out in between when I did. So, and then we'd harvest. We'd just split it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then,
Now,
friends would come over and stuff like that, and they wanted some weed. I'd sell them a little bit of it, or
yeah,
here, smoke on this, So I've learned a lot, done a lot of crazy shit.
that's fucking cool. I'm just like fucking a tree in a tree. Like,
Yeah. Them guys were all blown away when I told them. They were like, "What?"
yeah,
One
I'm
guy,
like how?
one guy that's in Rhode Island or whatever he's at, he's like, "Man, I'm doing that." He
Like,
said, "I got two."
I was thinking
He
about it.
went
I
and
was,
bought a pulley. He went and
oh
bought a
shit.
pulley and everything ready.
He's like, yeah, I gotta get it, cause I'm like that is smart, and it makes me think about like all the other ways there is to do something, like all the other things that I just don't know about or like nobody said, and it's just like that's like it starts to make me think and second guess things. Like, what could I do right there? Like, I'm just every now like when I heard that, I was like, I'm driving to work and I'm looking at trees and I'm just like, cause I go through like and then when I work like wildlife and stuff like that, so like game warden, and I'm driving by these trees and I'm just looking at it and I'm like, man, I was like.
Yeah. It's and the whole reason we did that was because of animals: deer, raccoon, rabbits, possums, squirrels, any of that stuff. Squirrels really don't mess with it, but deer, rabbit, raccoons, stuff like that, they eat that. It's a green vegetation. I mean, they
Yeah.
a deer will eat a whole freaking plant.
That's all. Yeah. Hey, but you never know. Like you catch one in the middle of the act. It's like, oh, that's an 8 point right there.
Yeah. So you know it's pretty cool though. I mean, I learned a lot, had a lot of fun doing it.
That's
Now
awesome.
I kind of just do my own thing, and I've got a tight knit circle of people, and we kind of keep our stuff to us and do our own thing.
Yeah. So with your growing, like, I don't want to ask like what's your favorite like strain or cultivar to grow, but like outside of your like your like what you continuously keep on, because I know like your keepers are like those are most likely your favorites, but like your outside ones, like have you grown any of these like these little fruity ones like the strawberry whatever the
I've got strawberry diesel.
okay.
That's a whole different strawberry diesel than a lot of people have.
Mhm.
Like my strawberry diesel is Kyle Cushman strawberry call times sour diesel IBL. Sour The sour D IBL is actually from the man who made the sour D's. So I have that one. It's fruity. I've had the wedding cake. I've had the gelato 33 from JBZ. C.
Mm-hmm.
Jones. I've
Yep.
had cut. He sent me cuts, and I growed them one time, throwed them away after that. Just yeah, they're dumpers, beautiful, smell good. But when I roll a joint, I smoke it, and 10 minutes after I get done smoking, I have to roll another one. There's a problem.
Yeah, that's like a fucking that's how people smoke cigarettes. You know, just chain smoking. You know, you got to and that's not. Yeah, I want something that's gonna last.
Anything I usually do that's seed wise usually only has a minimum of only four things in it. Period.
Like the crosses or the
Yeah,
everything that goes into it.
yeah, because what happens when you know like runts? There's 72 different things in runts. So in the lineage. So
And
all that does.
I think I say it all the time, and it's not like I'm hating on it or anything like that. I respect, you know, Young Elb jokes up the entire thing, like y'all push something and y'all are benefiting, making money off this stuff. But it's just I hear the prices on some of these things, all these strains, and I'm just like, all right, yeah, I'm just like, okay, you know, it's like that's insane. But shout out to y'all,
Like
y'all getting the money.
everybody says they have the original Gorilla Glue. No, they don't. They don't have the original Gorilla Glue. They've got GG4, the S1 of it, but they ain't got the original Gorilla Glue. There's three people in the world that have it. So everybody can keep saying that. And if anybody ever tried to buy it from one of the three people in the world, they're going to pay 35 grand for it. They're not,
Mhm.
or they're not going to get it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just the way it is.
for
You
sure.
know,
It's
I knew
not like
Joe. I knew Josie very well. He was a good friend. You know, rest in heaven now. So he was a good friend. There's a lot of them that are still here that people just. It's because of the way things are. Like I got a buddy who's a clone broker. Like that's what he does. He's part of that OG family, the actual circle
mhm.
from where OG originally come from. And he's a broker. And cuts aren't cheap, man. But he is
Yeah.
a verified. He's a verified. All his cuts are verified, and all his cuts are tested for
Exactly.
HBL.
Yep.
So they don't have that hops virus or whatever it is.
And
So all his stuff tested. So yeah, you're paying
I
for a legitimate certified cut that has already been tested. That saves you money from having to send something to have it tested. And then
yep.
if it has it, then it has to be meristem tissue cultured to clean it up to bring it back. So you got to pay for that. So
And
it's all in where you get stuff, and
exactly.
you know.
Because like if you're getting it from the source, like you're not like getting it from some, you know, it's trickled down to like the fourth person, and this person just, oh, he told me it was this and blah blah blah. And now I'm advertising it as this, and I'm over here like let me buy these seeds, and you're telling me the seeds are this, but when I look it up, I grow it, my features don't resemble any of this at all, and I'm just like, but now I'm under since I'm a new grower or whatever, I'm under their consumption that like or the assumption that it was this, and now I'm telling the next person. Now it just keeps trickling down, and now people's like, that's not it. You put the original by this side by side, and it's not the same thing at all. And that's why I'm just like, if it's coming from the source, like you could pay those, you could pay those dues, but you got a lot of people out here just trying to scheme by and just get over on people, and that's crazy to think about. Like,
And that's what it is. I mean, that's the whole thing. There's a lot of these big name guys right now come out of nowhere. Nobody knew who they were, nothing, and then now they're in the scene. They're like the biggest thing in the scene, and it's just kind of like there's more behind all that, and I'm not going to put that on
yeah,
public.
politics,
I'm
politics,
not.
politics. Yes,
Well, it's more than politics.
yeah.
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to talk on it. Maybe in a private, I'll let you know, but I'm not going to talk
Okay,
on it.
yeah. I was like, because we could hit end and we could talk.
I mean, it's just I'm not going to do that because a lot of names get brought in and all this and
Yeah,
that.
for
I'm
sure.
not.
Well, we've been out for 50 minutes. We got to cover a lot. I don't want to. I can sit here and continuously talk to you pretty much all night. I got work in the morning, but it was definitely a pleasure, and I'm definitely gonna like keep up to date with you because like you're one of those people. Like kudos to you. Like you're one of those people. Like this is my first time being able to talk to you, and like just like I'm new into this. I've been doing this less than 2 years, and I aspire to like I'm in the army right now, and I'm getting out to pursue something along the lines of this. Like I want to get into my own growing, but I want to keep it, you know, I want to find my way, find the right way. There's multiple ways to do things, but I want to go about everything the correct way, and I don't want to just take shortcuts. Like, oh, I got $1 million, so it's like I go do this, just bouncing around with money, and that's not me. I want to work for everything, and I want to, get there the right way, rather than just taking all these shortcuts. And you're just
Yeah.
one of those people. Like I could tell you got so much knowledge, and the fact that you've been doing this so long, it's like I can't wait till I'm to that point where it's like I'm looking back at got a tree
Well,
story, a tree in a tree.
and with me, it's like I can't take his knowledge with me. So
Exactly.
knowledge is free. It's that's one of our amendments, freedom of speech.
Knowledge. Yep. Knowledge is power. Like people.
You know, that's the reason I do what I do. I try to help anybody I can. I mean, I don't have a problem. People message me and say, "Hey, I'm having this issue." And 90% of the time, I'll tell them like, "All right, video chat me and let me see what you got going on." And then I'll tell them, "Hey, you got this going on. Do this and this." Let me know in a couple of days how. A couple of days later, like, "Hey, man, thanks. I really appreciate it. That everything's bouncing back or it's doing this." And
I,
that's what it's about for
yep.
me.
I just had somebody because I'm big into DWC and I'm still learning everything there is to learn about it. I helped somebody with a problem. I forgot without looking at it, I forgot what the problem was like a week ago, and I told them like I'm like, this is what I'm thinking it is. I can go ask some people. I would do a little bit more research. I'm like, this is what you can try. This is what I would try. I'm not going to be like, hey, this is the way and this is the only way this is going to work. And he tried what I said. I forgot exactly what it was, but then he like messaged me today, literally probably like an hour before we do this. And he's like, hey, man, it worked. Everything's back to normal. They're looking good. He sent me a picture. I'm like, wow. I'm just sitting there like, damn, like, the fact that I was able to, from my experience, just my short experience, I was able to like learn something and like pass it to somebody. That
That's the key word right there. You just said it from your experience. And the no two growers are alike. And
exactly,
everything. And let me put it to you this way: everything and everybody that's going to watch this, um, everything that I've said on here is my opinion.
hmm,
I'm not saying everything is fact. It's my opinion and the way I've done it and the experiences I've had with it. You know, so and like I said before, I'm not better than anybody else or nothing like that. Like I said, I put my pants on one leg at a time in the morning, just like everybody else. So don't think that I'm this or that. I'm not. I'm just an average, everyday guy that just has a passion and a love for the plant. And that's the
exactly.
reason I've done it as long as I've done it. I'm not planning on doing it till I can't do it no more.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Stay in there.
And then the wife gets to step in and she gets to do it
What
after I.
what about kids? Do you have kids?
Yeah, my son.
I was about to ask if like are they into it or I don't know what age they are, but
Well, he smokes, and he helps me trim and stuff like that. Right now, he's just not interested to learn. So I mean, he's an adult, but he's not interested. My son is autistic and
okay,
ADHD,
okay,
so he deals a lot with depression and stuff like that. So
okay,
with him right now, I just he's got a girlfriend, and that's what makes him happy. So that's all that matters to me is him being
exactly.
happy.
Being happy.
The wife, she's allergic to it. Like she goes into anaphylactic shock for real.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I
big time
thought you were
allergic.
like, dang, I thought you were just joking about the allergic. I was like,
Uh, no, no,
man.
she is. She is. Almost killed me. Yeah, she said I.
Hey, how you doing?
I was sitting here smoking. I'm sitting here smoking, and she's like, "Man, I really want to hit that." And I said, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah." So she hit it 3 times. And she's like, "Oh my God, this tastes amazing. Oh my God, I feel so great right now." She said, "Hey, I got to go outside." I'm thinking, all right, it hit her kind of hard. She's gonna go out and get some fresh air. Nope. I walked out there and I said, "Hey," I said, "Are you okay?" I said, "What's wrong?" I said, "You dumbass high or something?" She's like, "Leave me the fuck alone and go back in the goddamn garage now." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, she was in anaphylactic shock. I mean, her body
Wow.
expelled everything. Everything shut down. Yeah, she was locked in a chair. She couldn't move, having seizures and shit. I was just like, what do I do? I said, "Come on, I'm gonna take you to the hospital." She said, "What are you gonna do? Put me in the back of the truck and tie me down with a strap so you can take me there?" I was like, "What?"
That's hilarious.
You don't even have life insurance on me yet. You're a fucking dumbass.
But yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's I mean, anybody that watches this or anything that's on IG that follows me, you can, follow me. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll try to help anybody, you especially.
Yeah,
If
for
you,
sure. I'm definitely gonna be. I'll
you
be
know,
bugging you.
DWC, the DWC, I can tell you some tricks and trades of that.
Okay, and I
Doing,
appreciate that so much.
yeah, keeping your reservoir clean, your actual bucket clean, and like, you notice how your roots get dingy, they'll get brown.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you a product to put in there, and they'll never turn brown. They'll be solid white.
Okay, I appreciate
Because
that.
what happens when they turn brown? It's a biofilm.
Yep, that's what I heard. And on so far on this grow, on my previous grow, having the brown on this grow, I started using UC roots, and and watching my water temperature and making sure my water temperature doesn't creep up too high. And this time it's been at first the beginning of the grow, biofilm was going, but this grow, I've kept things pretty well after trimming out. I just decided to cut where that stuff was at. I cut, and everything just grew back nice and clean so far. So I was like, all right, it's the
There's a
cleanest my.
product. There's a product, and it's on my main page on IG, and it's a
Okay.
product called Grow with More.
Okay.
Um, it is actually live microorganisms, and they keep everything clean.
Well, I gotta check it out.
Everything
I'm
clean.
definitely checking out. I'm going to look at your page. I'm going to look it up and
Yeah,
buy
and
some because.
Pete, yeah, it's worth it. It's pricey, but it's worth it. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I found out. Like,
yeah. When I first started using it, I put it in my reservoir, and within 3 days in flower, I seen a difference.
okay.
I could visually seen it, and I was just like, "Holy shit!" It was like right on, And I called because whenever I try something new, I always call the company and I talk to them just
That's
to
good.
get
Giving feedback. Yeah, giving feedback
the
is
lowdown on how it is and how it works and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of products I use um, that I've used for years, and I get people that try to send me stuff to try, and it sits here, and it's just like I'm not going to do it. Well, let me send it to you, and I'm not going to use it, so go ahead and waste your
yeah,
shipping or
yeah.
whatever.
It'll sit right here. It'll look
Yeah,
pretty right here.
yeah, exactly,
But
exactly.
we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate it so much. I'll make sure I have your Instagram, your IG name and stuff like that. So you guys heard it here first. OG Fast puts his pants on 2 legs at a time. No, I'm kidding. But check him out on Instagram. He's definitely knowledgeable, and I know I'm gonna be hitting him up and learning. It's always good to pick so many different people's mind, and that just ties into your own knowledge. It's like just taking things from everyone and just putting it all together and coming up with your own thing and whatnot. And I appreciate you for doing this call with me, and I look
Hey,
forward
no,
to talking
no,
to you in the future.
not a problem. Just make sure you send me the link to this and stuff so I can
Definitely,
I'll post it and
definitely.
let you know that there's another one out there because I try to do that.
Okay,
So people can go and listen and try to learn.
okay.
That's the main thing. That's what I'm here for. Trying to
I
help people and people learn. So
I appreciate it, and this will most likely be posted on the coming up Wednesday. It'll be the upcoming, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday.
right on,
And as soon as I get it, I'll send you a link. I'll make sure I put on like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and whatnot. That's for the people that don't want to watch it; they want to just hear audio. So,
right on. Cool. Yeah, for sure.
all right, man. Talk to you later.
All right. Hey, have a good one.
You too.